Hello fellow book nerds, this is Gabby and today we have a little bit of a different video. So about 6 months ago now, because I'm a procrastinator, I went to New York City and I had a whole day to myself and I thought, what better way to spend my one day in New York City? I mean, I was there for longer, but like my one single day, whatever. How better to spend it than go to all the bookstores all around Manhattan and one in Brooklyn and discover the city that way. And it was honestly one of my favorite days. It's such a great memory and I thought, why not share that with you, recommend you some fun bookstores in Manhattan, tell you about them, and also recommend you some books set in New York City. So the first bookstore I visited was called McNally Jackson Books in Williamsburg. It's a really cute shop and it's an independent bookstore with Canadian roots. Not too much info on that one, but I did see a really cool book, at least it seems cool. So it was called Neruda on the Park by Cleyvis Natera. The Guerreros have lived in Norfolk Park, a predominantly Dominican part of New York City, for 20 years. When demolition begins, a neighboring tenant, Eusebia, an elder of the community, takes matters into her own hands by devising an increasingly dangerous series of schemes to stop construction of the luxury condos. Meanwhile, Eusebia's daughter, Luz, a rising associate at a top Manhattan law firm who strives to live the bougie lifestyle her parents worked hard to give her, becomes distracted by a sweltering romance with the handsome white developer at the company her mother so vehemently opposes. Sounds really intriguing. I really liked the cover and I thought it sounded like a really cool book. The second bookstore I visited was in Manhattan, so I went from, I think, upper side to the lower one, and it was honestly so much walking, but amazing. So this one is called Shakespeare Co, and apparently it's an iconic Manhattan bookstore. It was founded in 1983, which was just so cool. Like, it's been there forever. So what was really cool about that bookstore was that it offered printing in store. So it uses this thing called espresso book machine, which I think is very funny. It can be used for self-publishing, private projects, and you can even print one of the 7 million titles they have in their print catalog. I have never seen this kind of thing before, so I just found it so interesting, and it was really a cool bookstore anyway. And then the book I wanted to recommend for that one is Blackout. It's by loads of Black authors, and it's kind of an anthology series set in New York City in summer on a night of a blackout, and it's several love stories from Black authors, and I really had a really fun time with it. There's a fun story going all the way throughout it that kind of connects. I think that one is by Tiffany D. Jackson, so yeah, give it a try. I feel like it will explore different parts of New York City in a very unique setting. If you like that scene in the Heights when there's a blackout, check it out. Fun of me, but then I went to visit Barnes & Noble, which, although maybe not the most iconic or unique, I am from UK, or I live in the UK and I'm from Poland, so that was my first time ever being in a Barnes & Noble, and I've heard so much about it. It's kind of like, our Waterstones, so I needed to check it out. And I was shocked at the selection. There's just so many different types of books that I've seen on the internet in all kinds of like super random small lists, and then there you have like the bestsellers and things I've never heard about. So I just love that, and I think that makes it really accessible to just like kind of see and access any book you want. And I loved being in there, honestly. It was so much fun. So for this one, the book I wanted to recommend was Burn Down, Rise Up by Vincent Tirado. So this was pitched as Stranger Things meets Get Out, and it's a sapphic horror novel from a non-binary Afro-Latina author. So we follow a girl whose mother gets kind of mysteriously ill, and she has to go down beyond the guts of New York City to uncover the truth of what's happening. It's kind of a ghost story. I really liked it. I thought it had a lot of gusto, and also had this powerful protagonist that could just do anything, which I really liked. Next up, I visited Free Lives & Co. So this is a independent bookstore which was opened in 1978 by 3 women. Thus, it's called Free Lives. In 1991, the Greenwich Village Historical Society cited it for being a pocket of civility. And for this one, I wanted to not really recommend, but mention a book that I saw there that I really want to read now. It's called Free Food for Millionaires by Min Jin Lee. So it's actually, I think, the debut novel of the author of Pachinko, which I've not read admittedly, but I've heard amazing things. The daughter of Korean immigrants, Casey Han has refined diction, a closeted passion for reading the Bible, a popular white boyfriend, and a magna cum laude degree in economics from Princeton. But no job, and an addiction to the things she cannot afford in the glittering world of Manhattan. Then I visited a truly amazing bookstore that if I lived in New York City, you'd find me there every single day. It's called Housing Works Bookshop. So it's been open since 1998. It's a secondhand store, I guess. All of them were donated, and the staff is almost entirely made up of volunteers. And 100% of the proceeds supports services for homeless and low-income New Yorkers living with and affected by AIDS and HIV. And I think that's just such an amazing cause. But while being an amazing cause, they just have so many books. It was amazing. And I thought an appropriate book to recommend here would be You Made a Fool Out of Death with Your Beauty by Akwake Emezi. So not the whole thing is set in New York because we do travel out, but the action does start in New York. So we follow a woman whose long-term partner passed away, and she has to grapple with the grief of that. It's been several years now, but she's not recovered emotionally, and it's still an incredibly dark time for her. And one day on a New York rooftop party, she meets a man who dazzles her and makes her maybe want to start dating again. Next up, I visited the Strand bookstore, which was actually opened in 1927. So it was actually part of Book Row, and Book Row covered 6 city blocks and housed an outstanding 48 bookstores. Can you imagine? What a dream. I want it back. It was founded by a guy called Ben Bass, and he opened it with $600. Today, it's the largest non-commercialized bookstore in New York, and it's sole survivor of the Book Row, so I hope it never goes away. It stocks 18 miles of books, which is more than 2.5 million used, new, and rare books. Apparently, the store is also well known for being featured in movies. So it was in Julia and Julia and Remember Me by Robert Pattinson, and Robert Pattinson's character in that movie actually played a Strand employee, which I thought was really cool. This bookstore was absolutely out of this world. It was so big, absolutely massive. It was a little bit intimidating. I struggled a little to find my way over there, but it had so many interesting selections. You know, those like body rapist romances and like weird crime books. It was just like such a cool place. So the book I wanted to recommend for that one is Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson. So in this one, we follow a girl who wants to be a singer. She wants to be a star, and she meets this very popular, well-known rapper / singer, and he says, hey, why don't you join my recording company and I'm gonna help you become a star. Never mind that he is significantly older and she's like 17 or something. It's a story about abuse. It was inspired by R. Kelly, so just be careful and know that going in, but it was a really powerful, really heart-wrenching read. The last bookshop I visited was called Rizzoli. This one I don't have that much to say, but it was opened in 1964. It relocated to its current place in 1985, and it was pretty cute. I liked it. It did have this like very sophisticated vibe, so I thought I'd recommend The Divineness by Libba Bray, which is a historical fantasy book where people with special abilities have to come together to overcome a danger lurking in New York City. Talking all softly and stuff, whereas normally I'm shrieking. I don't know why I procrastinated this video. It was absolute delight to be working on it. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know your favorite New York bookstore. Let me know if you liked this video. I hope you did. And I'll see you in my next one. Bye.